Introducing National Streaming Sports, live and on-demand sports talk programming that you can access 24/7. For the premier sports talk experience, tap into our Roku channel. Start your mornings with Mac and Jack covering all the weekend sports action. Then pour a cup and enjoy all the sports you can drink on the Coffee and Sports podcast. At midday, talk sports from east to west on the Coast to Coast podcast. Followed at night by some hot girl talk with Prim and Proper Sports featuring Sonia Pearson. Talk boxing on the Gloved Fist. Yankee fans tune in for Start Spreading the News. And there's more on the College Sports Huddle and Sports Scope with Robert Butler. There are 20 podcasts in all and 70 weekly shows giving us a 3.4-star viewer rating. To find us on Roku TV, search for National Streaming Sports on the Roku search bar. Click on the logo and you're in. National Streaming Sports, live and on-demand sports talk for America.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Dr. Sem Yankees Show. Today is Saturday, February the 8th, 2025. This, of course, is the podcast affiliated with the fantastic, the great, the amazing Yankee site, Start Spreading the News. Check us out every single day. We put up brand new articles every single day and have been doing so since 2017. And those articles aren't just one a day. What? They aren't just two a day. There are 3 distinct articles at least every single day. One at 6, one at 10, one at 2. We also have breaking news. Once the season comes, we will have game threads and game summaries, quick hits, which is the quick score after the game, which we do for virtually every single game, except if it gets late into the wee hours of the morning. Usually on a West Coast game, we don't necessarily get a quick hit. But for the most part, there's a quick hit at the end of every game. Nobody brings you Yankees coverage and baseball coverage in general like we do at Start Spreading the News. Just a reminder, too, that the Start Spreading the News program and the Dr. Sem Yankees Show are brought to you by Artemisia Publishing. Artemisia Publishing can be found at apbooks.net. You do not want to miss the tremendous selection of books that Artemisia Publishing puts out every single year. So many of these books win awards, including numerous books by me. Great news. My next Yankee book is slated. We now have a publication month, February 2026. So 1 year from now, just about, my next Yankee book will be coming out, and that book is coming out through Artemisia Publishing. So let's make today a great day. And how do you make your day great? While you take the time to look around and see the good. See the blessings that are all around you. Take note of the good. And then perpetuate the good. Grow the good. Make the good blossom by sharing it with others. When we notice the good and we spread it, we help make the world individually, person by person, a better place. And there is good all around. If you can't find any good, well, then make good. Do good things for other people. Find ways to build other people up. And then there will be good. And when we give love and kindness and respect, remember that those feelings come back to us in greater amounts than we ever gave before. So let's get to the Yankee news. There's not a whole lot. The Yankees did re-sign Tim Hill. So now they do have a left-handed pitcher in the bullpen. And that's a good thing. Of course, if you have no money, having $1 in your pocket is a good thing. If you have no money, having $2 in your pocket is better. $5 is better than that. So the Yankees have one left-handed pitcher in their bullpen. It's a start. Not going to say that the Yankees have improved immeasurably. I'm not even sure if Tim Hill is going to be any good, but it's a start. Now they at least have a lefty. And compared to no lefties, a lefty, well, that's better than no lefties. Of course, I would think having a couple of lefties would make more sense. But I'm happy with it. I'm pleased. The Yankees also made a minor move the other day. They signed Carlos Carrasco to a minor league contract. Carlos, well, a couple of years ago, he actually had a pretty good year with the Mets. He went 15-7. He made 29 starts. He threw 152 innings. His ERA plus was 152, which means he was 52% better than the average major league pitcher that year. That's great. The only problem is if you go back all the way back to 2019, every other season, Carlos Carrasco's been a below average pitcher. In 2019, his ERA plus was 96. In 2020, the shortened season, it was 82. In 2021, it was 50. Then he had the good year. And then in 2023, it was 66. And last year, it was 89. It's a depth piece. It's not a bad depth piece. The guy can pitch. He's going to be 38. It's not a bad guy to have on your team. But he's not a great guy to have on your team. Many people are speculating, and we did a little bit on the Start Spreading the News show, which airs on this same network at 9 p.m. live every Monday night. We speculated that maybe that meant that the Yankees might be able to consider him the pitching depth they need, which would allow them to trade Marcus Stroman. Maybe. Again, as a Yankee fan and as someone who just wants the Yankees to put the best team on the field, it frustrates me that the Yankees have said and indicated that they can't make another move. They can't get a third baseman until they move Marcus Stroman's contract. Come on, we're talking about the Yankees. They have to do better than that. In a minute, I'm going to talk about first base, the Yankees and the Mets, and we'll do some comparisons. Of course, when I do comparisons, I'm always consistent and fair and honest. This isn't an anti-Yankee show, even though sometimes I criticize the Yankees. Of course, I love the Yankees. Why would I run a Yankee site putting up 3 articles at least every single day if I didn't love the Yankees? Of course I love the Yankees. And it's not a pro-Yankee site because obviously I critique the Yankees a lot. It's an honest Yankees site. So many people have told me, they've said, Paul, or they've said, Dr. Sem, they've said, you know, you're unlike most Yankee fans. You're honest. You tell it as it is. It's not Yankees, Yankees, they're always right. And you're not one of those fans who says, Yankees, Yankees, they can't do anything right. You tell it as it is. And that's what I do. I tell the truth. So we're going to look at some first basemen who play in the city of New York and do a quick comparison, an honest comparison. Some things about the two players are very, very similar. But before we get to that, what are you doing today? Saturday, February the 8th, 2025. What are you doing today? Are you just going to stay inside? Are you going to count pennies? Are you going to scrapbook? Are you going to just play video games or watch TV? I mean, there's many great things you could do at home, of course. But if you have nothing planned, today would be a great day to head over to Hinchcliffe Stadium in Paterson. Today, the Northern New Jersey chapter of SABR, the Elysian Fields chapter, is having a very special day. It's our SABR Day activity. as a tribute to Larry Doby, the great baseball player who came from Patterson and who actually played at Hinchcliffe at the Charles J. Muth Museum, 186 Maple Street, Patterson, New Jersey. We are having our Sabre Day tribute to Larry Doby. I, of course, am the vice president of the Elysian Fields chapter of Sabre, and all baseball fans are welcome. You do need to make reservations. If you go to start spreading the news, there's a article up there with the Elysian Fields logo that'll tell you how to make reservations, but you could call 862-385-1240. Seats are limited, but starting at noon, there'll be socializing and people can explore the museum. At 1 o'clock will be a screening of the movie Pride Against Prejudice, the Larry Doby story. And then at 2:30 will be a panel discussion about the career of Larry Doby and baseball in general and baseball in Patterson and the Negro Leagues. You know, Larry Doby was the Jackie Robinson of the American League. It was very shortly after Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier in the National League that Larry Doby broke the color barrier in the American League. And he faced many of the same problems, many of the same prejudice, much of the same hatred as Jackie Robinson. But Jackie got the press because he was the first. And Jackie deserved it, of course. But Larry Doby, to some, has been forgotten. And that's a shame. He deserves as much recognition or close to as much recognition as Jackie Robinson. Larry Doby was someone who stepped into the unknown. And we can celebrate him and learn about him again today, Saturday, February 8th, beginning at noon at the Charles J. Muth Museum at Hinchcliffe Stadium in Patterson on Maple Street. So if you have nothing to do today, come and check it out. But remember to call 862-385-1240 to make your reservations. You can also find information at the Muth Museum. And you can get more information. There is the brochure if you go to start spreading the news. One other thing, there's going to be some free giveaways at the event. Good Sabre member donated some books. I have a whole bunch of books. We're going to be giving them away, and there might be some baseball cards. I'm not sure about that, but you know, some period pieces. Here's a baseball guide, the Sporting News baseball guide from 2000 to some old baseball registers. These are great books. Beautiful, beautiful books. They show the statistics of every single player. It's like having Baseball Reference right in your hand. Now, of course, Baseball Reference gets updated, and this is the book from 1994 with Black Jack McDowell on the cover. But these are beautiful to have on your shelf. They're gorgeous books, and they're going to be free. We have a box of them. You know, one of a kind. They're not really one of a kind. They're not like there's the only one in print, but we only have one copy of each is probably the better way to say it. And we have some old programs, some old scorecards, I believe, a couple of football programs, and I'm bringing a bunch of baseball books. Hey, you're going to come out, and there's going to be free stuff for you to take. And I hope everyone takes the free stuff because I don't want to carry it back home again. I want other people to enjoy it. Again, these things look great on your shelves. The baseball guide, you know, I used to get the baseball register every year. My father would buy the Sporting News baseball register, and we had 1 million of these at one point, you know, in the late 70s, early 80s. But there comes a point in time when you just can't keep everything, right? Like, so I don't remember exactly. I think we donated them all, but now we have a new batch to give away tomorrow. But we never got the Sporting News baseball guide. And let me tell you want to talk about something that's fun to look at. Like, here's the Oakland Athletics. It talks about their season, the previous season. It gives their schedule for the 2000 season, goes game by game, talks about their spring training roster, tells about ballpark information, highlights on the teams. it's just chock full of information. I mean, it's just crazy. World Series information, playoff information, of course, a ton of Yankee stuff in here. Let's see if we can find the Yankees here. Here's the Seattle Mariners. Looks like they're in alphabetical order. Here's the Yankees. Here's one interesting fact from the Yankee page in the Sporting Guide. In 1999, the Yankees went 98-64 to be in first place. They went 48-33 at home. The team leader in batting average was Derek Jeter, who hit 349. The team leader in home runs was Tino Martinez, who hit 28. We should do a trivia question here. Who were the top draft choices, I guess, in 1999? Not a great draft class for the Yankees. David Walling, Tommy Winrow, Alex Grammon, Roberto Corrado, Seth Taylor, Reggie, can't see it here, LaPiante, Andy Phillips, who did make it to the majors, Scott Oliver, Jeff Blumont, and Brad Ticehurst. Wow, not a great draft class for the Yankees. So fun stuff, really good to look at. And again, beautiful to have on your shelf. And it's going to be free if you get there early and it's still there on the table. So that book and many others like it, lots of free stuff. So let's take a look at first base. The Mets just re-signed Pete Alonso. 1 year, I think it's really 2-year contract, but he gets an option at the end of the year. So basically it's a 1-year, $30 million deal. The Yankees back in December signed Paul Goldschmidt. I believe Goldschmidt signed for 1 year, $18 million. I'm checking that right now. No, even less. 1 year, $12.5 million for 2025 with the New York Yankees. So less than half, according to Baseball Reference at least, less than half the value of Alonso's contract, the Yankees got Paul Goldschmidt. Now, we don't have to get into the fact that Goldschmidt's won a number of Gold Gloves. I believe it's 4. And Pete Alonso's never been known for his defense. So you're talking about a situation where the Yankees have the better fielder. But if you look at their hitting, last year, Paul Goldschmidt batted .245. Last year, Pete Alonso batted .240. Basically identical. Alonso did play in 162 games. Well, Goldschmidt played in 154. 8 fewer games. That's really negligible, right? Now, Goldschmidt will be 37. He'll be playing his age 37 season. Alonso will be playing his age 30 season, so Alonso's a lot younger. Alonso hit 34 home runs last year. Goldschmidt hit 22. Alonso drove home 88 runs. Goldschmidt drove home 65. Goldschmidt's OPS plus was just under average at 98. Alonso's was 23% better than average at 123. The previous season, Alonso was at 123, an identical number. The previous season, Goldschmidt was basically the same at 120. The season before that, 2022, well, Goldschmidt had a 177 OPS plus. He won the MVP. Alonso, not bad, 146. That year, Alonso led the NL in RBIs with 131, and he hit 40 home runs. But I don't see a remarkable difference, really. Alonso, let's look at WAR here. 2.6 WAR. Goldschmidt, 1.3. Yeah, Goldschmidt, it was an off year for him. Year before, Goldschmidt, 3.4. The year before, Alonso, 3.2. So Alonso had a better 2024, but not appreciably. And Goldschmidt, the Yankees got for a much lower price. And I have to say that if I were a betting man, and I'm not, and I hate using that term because I'm against betting in sports, 100%. Somebody yesterday just offered me a bet, a nickel. They said, I bet you a nickel I said, I won't bet. I don't bet. I bet you 1 penny. I said, I'm not betting. I don't bet. I'm not betting a penny. I'm not betting a nickel. I won't eat your green eggs and ham in a car, in a plane, with a fox in a box. I won't eat them here or there or anywhere, and I won't gamble in any of those situations either. So I hate saying the words a betting man, but I think if you are going to look at things realistically and fairly, I think an argument can be made that Paul Goldschmidt and Pete Alonso are very similar players at this point. I think an argument can be made that Goldschmidt has probably the higher upside, and you could argue that he may have the better season in 2025. But even if not, he's only tied to the Yankees for a year and not for tons and tons and tons of money. Alonso, again, only tied to the Mets for 2 years, and he has the opt-out after one, but it's a lot more money. And in one sense, I don't care how much money the Yankees spend. I'd rather they have a $500 million payroll, a $200 gazillion payroll. I just want them to have the best players at each position on the field every day. But since the Yankees bind themselves down with costs, I think Goldschmidt's the better deal for 2025. And I'm not one of these guys that hates guys on the Mets just because they're on the Mets. I'd love to have Francisco Lindor. And that other guy the Mets have, the guy who's going to play right field and DH, mostly right field, I guess, Juan Soto. Yeah, I'd like to have him on the Yankees as well. So we're getting there. It's only a couple of weeks till spring training. What should we look for in spring training? Well, one of my favorite things is the young rookie or the up-and-coming ball player or the uninvited or the non-roster invitee to spring training. You know, the guy nobody expects anything from, who does something remarkable, usually within the first week or so of camp, maybe within the first couple of games that they play. Last year, it was Spencer Jones, who hit a home run about 37 miles away. And everyone's like, yes, he's here. He's arrived. Spencer Jones. And then he had a mediocre season at Double-A, and he struck out, I think, 19,000 times. The Yankees still believe in Spencer Jones. I still hope Spencer Jones becomes a great ball player. But the way people were talking that first week or two of spring training, like he hit a long home run. Oh, my goodness, he is going to be amazing. I remember being in college when the Yankees had a pitcher named Tim Leary. Now, Tim Leary just wasn't a very good pitcher. But I remember reading the reports. My dad I was in college in Pennsylvania, in Wilkes-Barre, King's College, a great little school, by the way. I highly recommend it. It's where I did my undergrad. The doctorate came from Seton Hall, but it's where I did my undergrad. And my dad, I lost my train of thought for a second there. My dad would cut out the newspapers in New Jersey from the Bergen Record, the Star Ledger, the Post, the New York Times, and the Daily News. He would get the newspapers at work if they were going to throw them away, or they subscribed, of course, to the Bergen Record, being a North Jersey family. But my dad would come across all sorts of articles. People would share articles with him, and he would then send, because I didn't have a way, there was no cable TV, there was no internet back then. I couldn't get, well, there was cable, but there was no internet. But the cable didn't give New Jersey and New York channels. So it was hard for me to get Yankee news. So my dad would cut the articles out and put them in an envelope and mail them to me. And I couldn't wait each week for the mail, usually on a Wednesday, to come with a thick envelope from my dad with lots of Yankee news that I could catch up on. And I remember hearing about Tim Leary in the late 80s or early 90s. I remember an article that, oh my goodness. Whoa. Spring training. Tim Leary has a brand new pitch. I'm telling you, Christy Mathewson, Walter Johnson, Bob Feller, Bob Gibson, Juan Marichal, Sandy Koufax, Pedro Martinez, you name them all. No one has a pitch like Tim Leary just unleashed. This guy, I'm telling you, and Don Mattingly, who was taking live batting practice, I'm making some of this up, of course, said, I've never seen a pitch move so hard and so well. He is unhittable. And of course, that gets the young fan excited, like, oh my goodness, Tim Leary's going to win 900 games on his own this year. This is going to be the greatest Yankee season ever. And of course he didn't. Spencer Jones hit the big home run last year, and then he spent the year in Double-A. But when spring training starts, this is what we get. We get the stories of the veterans or the young kids finding something out special. And all of a sudden, oh boy, they're going to be great. Sadly, most often, that doesn't come to fruition. I'm hoping the Yankees, before spring training, actually bring in a real third baseman. I don't want them, and I appreciate what DJ LeMahieu did his first couple years, but I don't want them trying him out. He breaks down. He hasn't had a good year in many years. There's no sense to keep trying something that's not working. Oswaldo Cabrera, Oswald Peraza, I don't see either of them as regular players. If the Yankees were high on Peraza, he would have had a bigger shot to not against Anthony Volpe to be the starting shortstop. He never was really in the picture, which means the Yankees saw Volpe as the better of the two prospects. And Volpe's not really a hitter. I think the Yankees should go out and get themselves a real third baseman. Nolan Arenado is still supposedly available. Alex Bregman is still out there. Maybe there's a trade they can work out, but let's go into the season, Yankees, with a complete team and not, a patchwork something or other for third base and a patchwork something or other for the second or third lefty in the bullpen. They have one. That was a start, as we said at the top of the show. But one, yes, it's better than zero, but it's not enough. It's so much fun. Listen, baseball is fun. We get frustrated. We can get angry. That's part of the fun. We can say, I can do a better job, and I think I can. Mr. Steinbrenner, hire me to be your GM. I'll bring you to the World Series, but you better be ready to open the pocketbook. Don't bring me in if you're going to put limits on what I'm going to be able to do, like it seems happens to Brian Cashman. My dear friends, have yourselves a happy Saturday. Again, if you're not doing anything, at noon today, come to Hinchcliffe Stadium in Patterson, to the Muth Museum, to take part in the Sabre Day activities. A bunch of baseball-loving people are going to be there. We have some giveaways, books for the most part. Come, meet us, have some fun, learn about Larry Doby. It should be a great day. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy yourselves. And remember, be kind, give kindness, give love. It'll make you happier. It'll make the world happier. Have a great day.